Hello, everyone. My name is Jenny Birak, and I'd like to welcome all of my new subscribers. And thank you to everyone who subscribes and likes and shares my videos. I thought about today doing a Facebook Live. If you want to be notified, or not Facebook Live, YouTube Live, sorry. If you want to be notified, just hit the little notification button so that you know when a video goes up. And then if I ever do a live YouTube where we're able to interact and you can ask questions, you'll get notified of that right away when it starts so that you could participate in that. So we're going to talk about, first of all, how is everyone doing? It's been quite a month with our starting out with that new moon eclipse with Saturn, Pluto, and the South Node, even Mercury. I know I'm not the only one because I have other people who've had Mercury related issues. It almost feels like a retrograde just because it was with the South Node, and now Mercury is moving up to meet the South Node all week, and then at the eclipse he's with the South Node too. So this is a full moon, a lunar eclipse that we're having coming up in Leo, and it's visible pretty much I know like North and South America, Europe, Africa. You'll have to look. I'm not sure about Australia and Russia, but it's a super moon, so the moon is really close to the earth, and then it'll have it looks kind of ruddy or reddish, has like a reddish hue when it's completely goes over. When it's completely covered up, you'll see it looks a little bit red. So it's a super blood moon. And it is answering to, so whatever was happening for you when we had the eclipse the new moon eclipse in Leo in August, the one that crossed the United States, whatever was going on for you then or whatever began, there should be a culminating with that story. Or, something comes to light from back then, some kind of situation should come up. That, I believe, was on Donald Trump's ascendant. And this full moon is going to be answering for some of the things that have gone on since we started there. And this is the wrap up of the eclipses in Leo that we've been going through since that time. Last month we started because they were with the nodes. Now eclipses always happen near the nodes of the moon. The node is in Cancer now, the North Node, but the moon is at 0 degrees of Leo. So we're wrapping up a story that's been going on for about 1.5 years, 2 years. And Leo is the sun. That's where the sun is at home. That's where we shine. That's why it's the constellation that we attribute to like fun things like romance, children, creativity, but it's where we shine, where we're center stage, where we like to be. The sun is, the ego, and the sun is also the spirit. So just like all the other planets, we have the higher and the lower vibrations of that. So this is where you're given room to shine and where you take center stage, where you flourish, is what Metatron is saying. So the chart for this, whenever there's a full moon or a new moon, you look at the planet that's ruling the constellation where it's happening. And in Leo, obviously it's the sun, which is in Aquarius, answering to that Uranus at the end of Aries. What's interesting is that Uranus was at 28 degrees where he will be for this full moon. That's where he was at the new moon too. So at the new moon, he was speaking to that new moon in what's called the trine energy. They were both, fire. It was the 29th degree of Leo where we had that eclipse. And the energy of a trine is like an easy aspect. Uranus is revolution and revelation, but it's about freedom. Ultimately, that's why Uranus removes things and causes change, and it can happen in an abrupt manner, but it's in order to bring freedom. So now it's squaring where the moon is in Leo now, okay? So that's that 90-degree aspect where it's like a more harsh, I guess you would say, aspect. So in other words, when the new moon came about, it was like, how can you have freedom? What do you need to be free from in order to shine? And now if that hasn't finished. That story hasn't finished up. This will be an awakening of that story and a way to exit. Because really, when we're talking about what's going on these first few months of 2019, it's the story of Uranus wrapping up in Aries for the final time. He's not going to dip back into Aries. Once he leaves March 6th, he's done. That also, by the way, is the date that Mercury goes retrograde. I knew that, and I misspoke and said that there was no other retrograde coming until April. But yeah, Mercury is going retrograde March. I feel like it's going to be a big one too, just because of Mercury being involved with this, with both of these eclipses that have happened. And then, like I said, it's almost been feeling like, even though he's not in shadow or anything like that, it's just been a lot of Mercury retrograde situations coming up. So, you know, this is the culmination of what is it that's keeping you from shining? What is it that makes you feel like you're hindered in some way, or that your light isn't able to just blaze? You don't have freedom to do whatever it is that you'd like to do. Maybe it's your job, maybe it's your relationship, but there's some story that you're going to be wrapping up now, okay, in order to bring you to freedom. Interesting too that Mercury was retrograde when we had that new moon eclipse, and now is on the south node. So where we're getting the feelings whenever a planet is close to the south node in a natal chart too, it takes on like the energy of a repeat, redo, kind of like a retrograde energy. So that's where Mercury is. It looks like, because this chart is cast for England, for London, we've got Jupiter and Venus together, and those are the two benefic planets, and they're in Sagittarius. They're reaching out over to Mars in a trine. They're all in fire. So I would say, like, not so much about relationships, but, you know, Aries and Mars and Aries is about, you know, what's your strategy, what's your drive, your ambition to get you to the goal that you want to get to. And with that, that's a very harmonious aspect with that Venus, Jupiter. Those are the two most beneficial planets in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is about reaching higher, going further, you know, looking into making an investment in yourself is what Metatron is saying. Investing in yourself in order to reach that goal and to experience freedom, okay? So I did pull some cards earlier today when I sat down to do the video the first time. So let me see what I did with those cards. All right, here we go. Okay, so I used the Denise Lynn, the Sacred Traveler deck. The first card, I pulled 3, and then we had the 4th card at the bottom. Passion and pleasure. Savor your life. So this is, you know, we want to really reach to that that Venus-Jupiter energy this week, okay? That's a very sweet energy in the sign of Sagittarius, really. And this, you know, Venus is about passion and pleasure too, especially when she's in a fire sign. So this is about, you know, instead of this, because like Metatron said in the last video that I did, that everybody feels like they're going up a mountain and they've got like this huge burden that they're dragging along with them up the mountain. This is really about, you know, focusing more on what it is that we have to be happy about, what we're pleased with about ourselves, what makes us happy, really focusing on moments of happiness and looking, you know, to self-care and ways to rejuvenate and our dream, reinvigorating our dreams and that goal, that wish that we had once upon a time. What is that? What is it that you want to do? What is it that you're really passionate about? But focusing on savoring moments that, you know, bring you joy, like when you have a great day at work, or when you have a great night out with your friends, or the phone calls that you have with friends that you could go on for hours and hours because you enjoy their company. Really focusing on that and appreciating the good things in life too. And then stepping into power. You are strong beyond measure. A lot of what's been coming up with us since that new moon eclipse, which, you know, was with the South Node, was abuse of power stories where we felt powerless, where we were we felt like cut off at the knees, where we didn't have authority, or we had a harsh authority figure. We didn't have the authority within ourselves, and we had to rely on an authority figure who wasn't kind and who wasn't like what we would expect, like the ideal authority figure that we would have liked. A lot of those stories have been coming up for us. And, so this is about stepping into your power, remembering like the challenges that you've been able to overcome and what you've been successful with, and really patting yourself on the back, that you were able to make it through that, and coming into your own power. What is it that you want to do with your life? And, situations where you're giving away power, maybe like worrying about how everybody else is doing before yourself, okay? And allowing them to have power over you, not being able to say no to people, wanting to make sure everybody is happy. That's ways that we can be giving our power away to other people. And also taking on responsibilities that we don't need to take on, and then feeling like we're burdened with responsibility. If we really understand what the Creator is about, we're responsible for ourselves, right? For finding joy, for being joy, for living in the vibration of joy. That's really like the only thing that we're really responsible for. And what everybody else is doing and how they're feeling and making sure that everything's okay for them is not our responsibility. We can choose to do that, but we want to like obviously be compassionate toward others without taking in all of their things for ourselves, right? And burdening ourselves that way. And then reaching your destination, your light is shining brightly, Leo. So let's see what she has to say about that. All your hard work and effort is paying off. Glory, triumph, and success are yours. If you've given your power away, now is the time to reclaim it. It's time to stand in your own light. A destination is less of a place, but more of a new way of seeing the world. Your dreams are moving to fruition. If you have any complete projects or unresolved relationships, this is the time to complete them. This is an important part of reaching your destination. Time to celebrate and acknowledge your successes in life. Okay, so yeah. And just, while we're on that path, not it being, Metatron is saying not being so much about drudgery, enjoying the journey that we're taking, not like, oh, another thing I have to do. And I know, the mood, the energies have been like that. I'm not saying that hasn't been true, but really focusing on, goals and what it is, not looking to the past. That's the South Node stuff that we want to leave behind. So not focusing so much on the past, really just releasing that and letting it go so that we can bring in the new. And then navigating by the stars. Follow your bliss. Okay. I know what he's getting at with that. Trust your gut. Have faith that a higher power is directing your life. Believe. Allow your life decisions to be dictated by what opens your heart and what brings you joy. Relax. Be patient. Follow your bliss. Your life is divinely guided. All is going according to a wonderful plan for your life. Be confident that all is well. And that's the energies governing 2019. That's that Jupiter-Neptune square that we have happening. Now, the lower energies of that are where we're getting caught up in politics nonsense, in celebrity nonsense, and conspiracy theories, all of that all of the things that distract us from what it is that we came here to do and why we're here in the first place. And navigating by the stars, and when he's talking about like reaching higher and seeing like the big picture, that Jupiter square Neptune is like limitless possibilities and opportunities and dreams coming true and bliss. It's really bliss. The higher octave of that Neptune Jupiter square is bliss. You know, you might not want to get there the route of, you know, an amphetamines, let's say, because that can also be part of this energy, but really allowing yourself to feel joy. Like that first square came about when it was exact yesterday. I was so happy all day yesterday, and not in an unrealistic way. Like I just really felt happy. So really reach, that energy is there. So really reach to that, toward that energy. We've got Chiron coming up to the last degree of Pisces. I know I keep promising a Chiron video, and I'm going to do that. I just, honestly, I'm so swamped with clients right now, but we're going to do that because it's coming up to that last degree of Pisces. And then we've got all of this, you know, the sun's still moving up to meet the south node. And it's just a lot of shifting going on right now is what he said, what he's saying. And what he was showing me in relation to the full moon that's coming, it was just a huge shift. Like literally it looked like a timeline just moved over. So it's a lot of shifts and changes that are going on for us. I think once we move into February, we're feeling a little bit more settled. Once we get past this last eclipse and we come into February, you know, it's like a whole new world, I think. And we're not going to be dealing with such heavy energies anymore, which is a good thing, especially in January in the Northern Hemisphere. Not a fun time to be dealing with all of these heavy energies. But anyway, you guys, hang in there. I know that it's tough right now. Really, you know, relish. He's saying relish time with your loved ones, with those that you're closest to, and making time. He's saying make time, appointments, you know, to hang out with people, to have fun with your friends, do something nice for yourself, help yourself to get through the energies that we're dealing with right now. Have a massage. Anyway, okay, everybody, take care, and I will talk to you again next week.